What's going on, gang, and welcome back to another episode of Scared of Normal. I'm McMurray, and today I'm joined by Matt Cordova and James 𝙎𝘾𝘼𝙍𝙬, and we're more than stoked to welcome a man that's tougher than nails, Troy McMurray, to the show. Thanks for being here, dude.
Dude, I'm stoked. Thank you.
Yeah, this is going to be super fun. We just wrapped up a session at Boulder Skate Park. It was a beautiful morning, beautiful day outside, and now we're going to get into talking about all the fun, really rad things you've done over the last 20, 25 years now.
Wow.
You've had a good run, dude.
Yeah.
Still going.
Dude, strong.
Yeah, today's session was incredible. Like some of the lines you were putting together, I'll lay some of them over in the video for this podcast. But yeah, we were smiling all day long. It was cool.
Sweet.
Good stuff. So yeah, for the people who are unfamiliar with who Troy McMurray is, who do you think Troy McMurray is? I'd love to hear it from your point of view.
Oh my God. I don't really know. Like, I like think about this continuously, truthfully. I don't know if I'm anybody. I know that I'm somebody. I don't know the value, but I know my value.
Okay.
And I think that my brain most of the time is just confused on all of it.
That's a fair thing.
I'm just out there kind of floating it.
Heck
So,
yeah.
Yeah, I really don't have a really clear definition these days of who I am.
Yeah.
But what I am is just a BMXer.
That's awesome, dude.
That's I'm labeled a BMXer. I want to die a BMXer. I want to I want to breathe and eat it and do everything I can to enhance the sport. So
love it, man. Just pouring back into it now. I love that.
Yeah.
I guess that kind of leads us into I want to kind of get into how you got into BMX. So where did you grow up?
I grew up in the 5 Points in downtown Denver.
Wow.
In the 70s and 80s. I was the oldest of six kids total. The oldest of six, and we're the only white family around. I grew up predominantly black, and back then it was just Chicano, and so lowrider cars and gangs and projects and government cheese, powdered eggs, and commodities and welfare, and just crazy.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
That neighborhood's changed a little bit, I'm sure, since you were a kid.
It's crazy. It's like a lot of me, of course, is I'm proud of my neighborhood that I grew up in, and but when I show up there, it's just like, wow, man, it is gentrified, it is cleaned up. It's like there ain't a scary part anywhere down here. And when I grew up there, it's like you don't want to go to that neighborhood.
Yeah.
You didn't have to be there, so cops wouldn't even show up.
That's crazy, man.
So
it's crazy going down there now, because I've heard so many stories like that of people growing up in Colorado, and they talk about how crazy 5 Points was for so long. And now you go down there, and like you said, it's like there's nothing scary. You're paying $30 for some tacos. And,
it's $1 million townhomes, and it's the crack house and the drug dealer and the shoes on the wire. They're all gone.
Yeah.
It's just gone.
Is the house that you grew up in still there, or has that one been torn down and replaced?
Like I grew up very poor, and so we moved a lot.
Okay.
But every house, when there are tons, they're all pretty much there. I like driving through, showing my daughters, this is where I grew up at. Yeah. This is where I learned to ride a bike at. This is where I jumped my friend Junebug on the green machine.
That's probably a sick feeling for you, being able to show your daughters that.
Yeah.
Oh, I used to ride here, here, and here. They probably get so stoked seeing that.
Yeah, they're my daughters, they'll never understand the street smart part.
Yeah.
Because, the kids these days are just so spoiled, dude. They... you get rid of a kid by giving him a phone if you want to, and we didn't have that luxury. Our idea was no, you're going to go outside. At dark time, you better be home, Yep. And so whatever you got into trouble with, that was the main thing. Go outside, go play, don't get in trouble.
Yeah.
And so, the kids these days, they don't have that luxury.
Yeah.
They don't. It's hard for me to be I live in a pretty good neighborhood, but let the girls walk a mile to their friend's house. Like, you know, that's their closest friend is about a mile away. And so I have friends like, you know, lean out the window, yo, Jumba, you know, and his little brother Edwin, we live next door. He can like jump from window to window, you know.
That's
like,
cool.
We had the neighborhood kids, and like these days, nobody lets their kids go outside and play.
Yeah, it seems like that way of life has kind of gone by the wayside because everybody can play video games together on the internet.
That's exactly it. The girls like, but I love that part. I take full advantage of that because like I get the girls to like do things with the treat of, or the reward of, if you do this challenge, then I'll give you 20 minutes or an hour of screen time, and you can use it, whatever. You can.
It's funny you say that because last time we were up at Frisco with you guys, the dirt jump park here in Colorado, they were saying that they got like 15 minutes of iPad time to like ride the medium line or something, and I was like, that's amazing.
Well, you know, like one year it was like, you know, I'll give you like $5 if you jumped at or fly out of that or drop into this, and then by the end of the summer, I was like, wow, man, my daughters made so much money. There's just dollar bills laying around the house.
Like, I just got hustled.
Yeah. And so I was like, you know, it's cool giving them money, but really what they really want is screen time.
Yep.
And so we try to limit the screen time with them, definitely, but it's fun to throw out the challenge, especially like the 2 hour to be used, even if you're grounded, you know, challenge, because they'll
send
do
it. Yeah.
And so you're like, all right, like you get a reward, you know, and the reward is cool. But going back to letting the kids just be outside, like I just believe like if you're outside, you're doing something, you know, moving, acting, whatever you're doing with your friends, and just helps that development.
For
right?
sure.
And I see a lot of kids and parents like, you know, nothing's crazier to me than watching a dad at the skate park on his phone while his razor scooter kids are cutting everyone off.
Oh, it's terrifying.
And like he just like he doesn't have an issue with it.
Yeah.
And like my daughters, when those kids are around, I like to go, why don't you go give them the park etiquette speech?
I've seen them do it too, which cracks me up, dude.
Yeah. And they fire over there and give them the park etiquette speech, and most of the time it works out. And then you occasionally get the daddy's on his phone, what old meathead, you know?
Yeah, gets mad at the kids.
That's
and
when I'm
you're just
like,
come on, dude.
I got a reputation.
Yeah. So I'm tough as nails, guy. You don't want that.
Maybe more than that. But so yeah, you know, I love to keep the girls outside. I love them to be, you know, like, I'd rather them be at the skate park doing nothing, hanging out and not skating or not riding or not, than to be home just on a device.
For sure.
And so I always tell them, you're going to the skate park, you don't got to ride, you don't got to skate. That only lasts like 30 seconds. You know, one of their groups of friends show up, and it's cool to watch them just switch sports.
Yeah.
And so,
it's cool to have like that background for yourself growing up, kind of running around in the streets with your friends and being able to like give that to them, and how much that doesn't exist in kids these days.
Yeah.
So is that what got you on a bike? Being outside at 5 points?
You know, we'd always like, you know, I had a friend, Junebug. He was just my trouble, you know, like hood rat friend, you know, like, and so he had a bike. I turned 7, and he had a bike, like an old school, like, you know, the mongoose with the shock on the back and the weird motorcycle seat.
Yeah.
Wide bars that are really tight, like small with a number plate.
Yeah.
And the number plate was number 7. I was like, well, it's my birthday. And we lived in a duplex, or, you know, you had to walk through the door, and his apartment was there and our apartment was upstairs, and that bike would sit there, you know. And so I'm just like, I rode on my 7th birthday. I rode that bike all day, flat tire. We had a little corner with a little jump through it, and I was just flat tire riding it all day. I didn't care. And then my stepdad came home and was like, you can't steal like the neighbor's bike. And I was like, I'm not stealing it. It's like my best friend. He's not going to mind.
I'm borrowing it.
Yeah. So I borrowed it all day. I gave it back. But
that's what lit the fire, huh?
Yeah, that day was like, you know, then we'd race, and but it wasn't until like the 7th grade there was a school assembly, and I remember like totally like the guy had a Patterson racing bike. with 4 pegs, the pegs that were really skinny with that look like axle nuts welded together. And so they're like, they're doing peg hops. And so like I was one of the, 40, 50, 100 kids raised their hand and they picked me. And I got out there and it just so happened we had a pogo stick. And so the guy showed me squeeze a brake and hop. And I was like, it's a pogo stick. And so I just stuck it. I was just like, I was peg hopping champion of the school that day. So
That's sick, dude.
That's crazy. You had that in school.
Yeah, it was like way back, I mean, 70s, like 80s.
That's crazy. Yeah, imagine that existing today. Like somebody comes to your school to do shows and they're like, here, hop on my bike. Like the amount of like liability that a school would be in so much trouble if they allowed that to happen now.
Yeah, they have school shows all the time though. You know, the No Hate Tour is like great. And then, Morgan Wade travels with Koji Craft. They do school shows.
So cool.
Like, it is super cool. It just opens like, not every athlete in the world needs to be a baseball player or football player, soccer, whatever. So
yeah, it's cool to hear that that's like your story, like how you really got cemented in wanting to ride BMX.
Yeah,
that's sick.
And then with that you grew up poor. Well, I did. I grew up just poor, and so kids get bikes, and then you're like, then it's like, well, a friend stole a bike, had a bike, and then I'm like, well, I guess the only way I'm going to get a bike is by stealing one. And so we stole a bike. I stole a bike, and then I rode that bike, and then it got stolen from me, and then. And it was like 7th grade. I had a hard time making it to school, like very hard time. We'd all just ride our bike. We used to go to this bike shop on Santa Fe. It was called J&E Sports. It was primarily racing, but we would go there. Of course, this is like in 85 or 84. And you just would go there, like ditch school, pedal like, what back then seemed like hours and miles, but really it was just right over by Ruby Hill, and we'd pedal there and, we'd be there at like 7:30 in the morning because we're supposed to be at school and the bike shop doesn't open till noon. And so we'd go there and just look in the window and like see all the colored mag wheels. Yeah. And, Hutch Trick Stars and CWs, and like they were just so colorful and vibrant, like whites and purples and pinks and all that. And we were just like, dude, I was just like, this is like, I am just into it. I'm just into it. Like, like skating and that. But before BMXing, I was a break dancer. And so it was like, I want to be a professional break dancer. And then I got a bike, and I'm like, the minute I realized, like, you know what, I'm like on a different level of my friends, most of them, even though most of the time we were flat landing, so that's what the 80s were, like endos and cherry pickers. And
sure.
And so on the tail whips where you hop over your frame a whole bunch of times. And it's like, that's what we did. And so I was like, well, I don't know about the breakdancing thing, but this bike riding thing could work out. And, it took some time, but by like high school, I was making a little bit of money and getting to do things, living in a foster home.
Okay.
At that time, where I had some foster parents who really was like they took me from the projects and from food stamps and from group homes and foster homes and like juvenile hall, and like that's just the environment I grew up in. And then let me live with them, and they're like, this guy's like, I'm a senior consultant manager of IBM.
Wow.
And like my mom is the therapist I met at an alternative school who was like my therapist.
Whoa.
And they're like, we know you don't have nowhere to go. Come and stay with us for the weekend. So I'd be in a group home during the weekend or during the weekdays. You got to go stay in this crazy big house. Like, to me, it was like a mansion.
Yeah.
Like, I shared a bedroom with brothers and sisters, like, and then all of a sudden I'm like, I have my own bathroom and I have a hot tub in the house. And
wow.
I had parents who like identified with what I was wanting out of life. They wanted me to ride my bike.
That's so cool.
But they made a deal with me like, oh, we'll support you with your bike riding. Like, buy you a bike, we'll take you to contests. Even at one time I was like, I can't believe I might go to Woodward. I was a freshman.
Wow.
And it's like Woodward was like
brand new, I'm sure.
And I was like, I cannot believe this, you know. So I never got to go to Woodward. Wasn't many years later, but bought me like a Haro Sport, like my foster dad, Bill Lamon, who I just claimed as my dad. Like, I, you know, never knew my real dad. So he was like father figure. And he's just like, I'll support anything you want to do with your bike, but I need you to play team sports.
Ooh.
And I was cool with that because
Yeah.
I had a lot of friends, you know, like, you know, it's like
Just the school
high school
friends.
was cool.
Yeah.
You know, I was like the jock who wore like Airwalk 540 velocities, you know, and played football in them. So
Dude, the
you know,
Airwalks,
everybody
man.
would be in the high top Nike turf shoes, and I was in black Airwalk 540 velocities. And I was like, my football team, everyone's all buff, and like, you know, I got the Airwalks on. I was like, yeah, dude, this is cool. I got to be me. I got to go hit some people.
Yeah.
And then, you know, that like football turned into like the lacrosse coach. Like, do you really hit people? You know, it's like, well, I'm
Yeah, I do.
angry.
I would not want to
I'm
be
an-
behind you, dude.
I'm an
That would-
angry kid. Like, I really am. I mean, so with all that, just going back to the foster home, having the parent that just like parents, and
Yeah.
you know, they had 2 kids. One that just went to CU. My sister Laura, who I still call my sister, my mom, and so just played team sports, did what was asked of me, worked at a bike shop called Action Sports, which was like they're related to Albies. So Action Sports warehouse is like, you know, we sell skateboards, but mainly bikes. Mail order company in Parker, Colorado, right by the Parker skate park now. I got to ride. I got to be around bikes all the time in high school. You know, I started making money and actually like entering contests when like people would be like, fuck, Troy's here.
Do you remember what your first contest that you entered was?
Yeah, it was like a Fort Morgan contest and I-76. You know,
Okay.
and they used to have a fair days, and then every year they'd have the Lip Lords would show up, and Pat Denny and you know, Pat Denny I always thought was like the second coming of Brian Blyther, and I'm like, this dude blasts 10-foot airs on vert, and so
Jeez.
And those quarter pipes, they
Yeah.
were like the skinny, tall quarter pipes, right?
yeah. And then you know, we did a couple contests, and you know, people were like, I can't believe we're gonna let Troy enter, because they were just they were terrified. Like, you know, Matt Hoffman did a front foot fly out about then on vert.
Wow.
And so I'm like, I wanted to be Matt Hoffman so bad when I was a kid. Like, I wanted to be the fucking Condor.
That's sick.
Like, and so I was like, and then I started riding with the Lip Lords and Jay Eggleston a lot. Jay Eggleston
Oh,
used to-
man. Yeah.
Jay Eggleston would come and pick me up from a foster home and let me ride with him all day. We used to have a quarter pipe in his driveway, right off Alameda and I-20 or Evans and I-25. We get out in the street and pedal like a block, then turn the corner, bunny hop up the curb, do the driveway, blast the quarter pipe air, and blasting back down, you know, 2 or 3 feet, you know. But
Still,
then
on
Eggleston,
one of those things, dude. Those quarter pipes were crazy.
yeah, it was
back
like
in the
8
day.
foot tall, 8 foot wide, little deck, you know.
Dude. Is Eggleston older than you?
Yeah, a couple years.
Okay.
He was like when I was, you know, 8th grade, he was already in high school.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And if you don't know who Jay Eggleston is and you're listening to this, look that guy up because
Well,
he's
you
an
know,
animal. Yeah.
Talk
he's-
about fast and loose. I mean, if we got to do that, I mean, he is like
Epitome, dude.
and even after his brain injury, he'll still go and destroy a big gigantic deep bull. Like,
Yeah.
he will crush 13-foot airs out on you if he wants.
He was probably one of the first guys that I saw like ride a vert ramp, like back in the Woodward days in Denver. Like I
Yeah.
was so young, and like that vert ramp looked so big, and
Yeah.
seeing him
He would
just,
just be like alley-oop 540ing the whole thing across.
Yeah.
You'd walk
in the
there
ceiling,
and just be like,
he would disappear,
"Whoa."
and then just come back
in the rafters. Yeah,
it was so
still-
sick.
he's-
Sick.
When I
That
see
was
him at
cool.
old school every year, and I'm like, dude, you riding? No, not really. But how do you not ride and still do like 11-foot airs?
Yeah.
That's
Like,
crazy.
you know, like,
you-
he's just and smooth.
Yeah,
Like,
did you get to grow up like riding with him frequently? Like, was he a big influence
I
on
did.
you?
We would ride Pat Denny's vert ramp every chance we got,
Yeah,
and then Jay Eggleston and Jay Eggleston, Robert Riley, who's co-owner of Reclamation Bikes. A couple of his buddies and me all had a little trick team that we would pretty much equaled that we got to set up a quarter pipe and ride it in someone's parking lot. Like we We didn't really know like, oh, actually we could be charging these people to be here doing this right now. But we did that for a little while. My foster dad, Bill, bought a Harbor Freight little trailer that was like 6 feet by 5 feet, and then converted that into a quarter pipe. So we had an 8 foot tall quarter pipe, 6 feet wide.
Jeez.
No coping on it.
That sounds so scary.
The front would just fold down, then the deck would fold up, and then we would just go do, Then I was like at maybe 5 feet airs, and Jay was at 8 feet airs still. And then, Mike Dominguez was doing fakies, and Jay Eggleston like started doing fakies on these quarter pipes, and just like, it was just every day. Everyone I rode with was crazy good. Yeah. And I just was like competitive. I have people supporting what I'm dreaming about, and like
the energy was all right. You're
all
around
the time.
The right people.
It was all the time.
Yeah.
And like, that come from like poor at 5 Points and to living in this house with successful people that believed in you. Hang around successful people, you will become what you are.
Yeah.
Like, you're only as successful as the people you hang around.
100%.
So, it's just like, next thing you know, Pat Denny's riding for GT and Jay Eggleston's riding for Schwinn, and some crazy way I'm like, a couple years pass, and I'm like, get a phone call from Sean McKinney. He's like, I want you to be, and I got a phone call from Rich Zader, who was he was Graveyard Products, Flatland. And he's like, when we get back from the York Jam, I want you to be our first street rider. Like vert, street and dirt and all the things you do. We're Flatland, but I want to have you come in and do what you do for Graveyard. And I was just blown away. Like, these are like,
was this like your first like phone call to be sponsored?
Well, it's funny because Jay Eggleston and I thought we rode for GT. But we paid GT to ride for GT.
Yeah.
You
pay to
pay
be on
them
the team.
$200 or $300. You get a bike or a frame, and you get a uniform and the dyno shoes and the dyno pants and the GT jersey. And we're like,
we're on the team.
We're on the team. Yeah. So that was like the first, like, all right, so I got a discount. So I'm good
you
stuff.
were on like the grassroots team or whatever.
Dude, I was like in 8th grade or 9th grade, and I was like, this is fucking awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe I just got this great of a bike for this cheap.
Yeah, that's cool.
Then, many years, it seems like, go by, but really technically it's only like a year or two. And then it's funny, we were watching, I was watching Matt's podcast, and he was talking about these indoor races and indoor jumps. I used to fucking love those bitches. Like, I fucking would just, I only got beat at one of those contests one time out of I think 8 years.
At the jump contest at the races?
Yeah. And
really?
so it was,
way.
And so it was one of the last ones we had there. And this is when I already we started doing King of Dirt and stuff. And so then we started doing these contests, and it was like Brian Taylor and Ray Luscombe and all these dudes. And so,
dang, that's crazy.
And then so we built this big ass jump, and we'd start outside of the barn and we'd pedal and I'm like, I'm a fucking freestyler. I rode Mongoose Hooligans and, fucking Hutch Trick Stars and GT World Tours and Haro Sports and Haro Masters, and so platforms and fucking 4 pegs and brakes. And, and I would be pedaling against certified legit badass fucking racers. And they're these jumps are 25 or 30 feet. It was over a berm. When we say the lip was there and the berm was there, I mean, these are big berms. Dude. And fucking these jumps are big.
When Matt was talking about it on his podcast, I remember him saying we had to take a lip over the berm. And I was like, dude, that's if you case that, that's not a good day.
It would just be you could go 4 wide in that berm and the lip is forever away. And then you'd have the landing on the back of it.
These dudes would straight up pedal all the way from, they would circle the doors. We would open both back doors on the fairgrounds, and they would circle around and then pedal back in and pedal the whole last straightaway.
Yeah.
And then hit like 25,
And you're
30 foot
probably like, dude, I don't do this.
But
Pedaling next to Ray Luscombe.
we
who's
used
the
to
J-
like, Brennan Brown, and Brennan Brown and I used to ride a lot then at that time. And so those races used to be like, all right, everybody, riders ready, watch the light, blah, and then everybody goes, and Brennan Brown and I'd be like, all right, we got the whole place driving.
yeah.
It was like bunny hop, 180, do tricks, and and then we started having these dirt jumping contests, and we're just like, well, that's your area that you can have. You can put that lane right through there, and as long as the racers, that's the main rule. As long as the racers can go 4 or 5 wide through the berm, because it was the main first big berm, you know? And like, I think it went on the outside, and then when you came back in, that was the other berm we'd jump into. So, yeah, it just got to be crazy. And so I just would, I won the first one I entered on my freestyle bike. And then we used to have these V contests at my jumps called the V in Aurora. And on the 4th of July every year, I'd have that contest, and I'd win all of those. And it's just like, evolve. You're going to contests. You're trying to chase down, like, oh my God, dude, I can't believe I'm this close. And so, you get like, go to a contest, and then all of a sudden, 𝙎𝘾𝘼𝙍𝙍𝙈, we're at Oklahoma City at a Hoffman contest. And my friend Clay Brown, who owns Pusher, and our really good friend Scott Fife, we were riding the jump box at Oklahoma. And it was during Provert. And us three, like, they're like, we're going to stop riding vert, and we want everyone to just direct your attention to the jump box. There are 3 dudes we don't know that are just fucking killing it.
No shit.
Stop Provert. And we just gave this fucking a lesson on the jump box. And the funniest thing about that was, as we'd jump, we'd have any trick you wanted. And my friend Scott Fife, like, he's done tricks I still haven't ever seen before, and so we shut it down. It was unreal. But the thing about that was they had a speed wall. We're dirt jumpers and street riders. I have a fucking speed wall. I'm like, how the fuck you get up that thing? So we had to learn how to do the speed wall. But then after we adapted, we shut it down. Scott Fife and I both got an unidentified rider in like the Second Ride magazine.
Yeah.
Wow.
And we're just like, dude, I can't believe I'm in a magazine. Yeah. I don't even care if I'm unidentified. This is sick.
Was that like the start of like you being like, oh, I could do this professionally?
Yeah.
Like being there.
That contest, then, I sidetracked. So Rich Zader, Graveyard. So he fell asleep at the wheel on the way back from York and passed away.
Oh, man.
And so I never got that phone call from Zader. And then so, a couple years go by, year or two. And then so just plugging along. And then 𝙎𝘾𝘼𝘍𝑒 comes up to me at that Oklahoma contest. After we shut the place down, we're drinking 100-degree Goldschlager. I think it was a dry county, so all the beer you bought, everything was hot.
Yep.
And it was already 100 degrees there, 100% humidity, so everything you drank was just boiling. But we were those kids.
Yep.
We're those dudes.
Just out there partying.
Out there drinking all day. Everyone's in uniforms. Mirra's in a uniform. Jay Miron's in a uniform. Condor's even in his Hoffman sort of uniform, the flame shorts and the whole nine. And so
that's sick.
There's us just drinking beer, having fun, getting rowdy. And then 𝙎𝘾𝘼𝑍𝑒 comes up to me and he's like, Primo. And so Primo, we'd like for you to be one of Primo's first, street rider dirt jumpers. And so they already had Brian Castillo. And so it was just like, wow, like Primo's a flatland company pretty much, but Castillo's on there. And so
he was making waves doing what he was doing. So that's cool.
And it was insane. And then all of a sudden they came out with a seat, the 𝙎𝘾𝘼𝑍𝑒.
It was like the big couch seat.
It was the steroid seat. It was
They had
hard.
the gel, right?
That's the second one.
Okay.
The first one was a steroid seat, and it was just shaped hard, big, thick rod, rails on it, because everything would be seat guts.
Yep.
And so the seat would all, every day I could break a seat. The rails would just spin sideways. Then I got that seat, had a plate in the back, and like it was just strong. And I was like, this thing is just, it's torture. Like it's small. It's just like this. Like wow, man, you're making my ass hurt. And so need to come up with a hemorrhoid saddle. And I was just joking. So, that's a great idea. Yeah.
No
Primo
way.
came out with a hemorrhoid saddle, the soft gel thing in the
I
middle.
remember
I
that.
had one of those.
Yeah.
I had a red one.
Yeah.
Didn't they have like a red sparkly one?
yeah, all that shit.
That was sick. I love that seat.
Yeah, then it was like I can't even believe like I didn't make a penny off the seat. I didn't get any credit for the name. Didn't want it. Didn't care. I just thought it was cool. I was part of it.
Yeah.
And then you know it's like Primo's flying me all over the place. I'd like fly to LA, and then like you know Brian Castillo is riding and like bunny hopping 5 foot tall rails to manuals and 180s out, and I'm just like, dude, I'm not at this dude's level.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm doing here, like honestly. And so just kind of floated around, watched Castillo dominate it, and then went back home and was like, and then a few days later got a phone call from Primo and was like, no, we want you to be like our dude. And so that means money and flying you around. And it was like, I just can't even believe this. So X Games, you know, first year, San Diego area. It was like, drive to San Diego and X Games, and the dude Law from Primo, I think he still works, I think maybe at Demolition.
Yeah, he's demo.
He's badass. I love Law.
Law's awesome, man.
So Law used to trip me out. Like he'd meet me and just like he'd just start counting hundreds. Like, give me money per diem.
Oh man.
And I'm just like, dude, I'm just this poor fucking white kid ghetto. Like you know, I'm still thinking about like gang member thoughts.
Yeah.
And like people giving me money. I'm just like,
You're like, I'm about to take all that money.
no, it was mine. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't fucking believe it.
Dude, that's crazy. What year around this, what year was that around, do you know?
About how old were you?
Fuck, you know. It was like at 90.
98, 99?
Yeah, 97 maybe, 96.
Okay.
And then that was going cool. And then McKinney is like, I was riding a Taj and with, you know, 4 brakes and rotor or gyro and I rotor. But and like basic standard bars, the ones with the inserts, the welded, it's big heavy shit, you know. And so McKinney called me and was like, you want to get on S&M? Of course, all my friends here, Bracken and everybody was like, they're S&M.
Mm-hmm.
So I just couldn't believe. I was always like anti S&M because of it.
Yeah.
Because everybody's
Stand
on
out.
S&M.
Yeah.
I want to ride for standard. I want to ride for these kind of people. But then it was like, no, dude, that'd be rad. Yeah, I would love to ride for S&M. So I got a dirt bike frame, and I put all the basic bars that I had, the standard bar, like, you know, the still Iowa Midwest flatland bike without a platform all of a sudden. And then a few months go by and McKinney's got it was PVC pro model, like a prototype of a Sabbath. He built all of it out of PVC pipe.
Whoa.
And so, he's like, when these come out, I want you to ride one. It's like flatland bike. So it's like, I don't fucking know. Back then, it's like, you didn't fucking know what a top tube measure was.
Yeah.
Or a head tube angle.
You're like, I'll
You're
just
just like,
ride
yeah,
the
I'll
thing.
ride it.
Yeah,
Sure.
send it to me. I'm fucking in. And then it was like, you know, it just evolved. And Chris wants to give you money. It's like, what? Really? Well, how much money are we talking? Oh, you know, pay your bills. Pay your bills. It's like, well, fuck.
This is pretty
I'm
sweet.
like 24 years old and my bills are paid.
That's
Now, I had a construction company then, and I like bike riders working for me so I can go bike riding. And I'm like, well, that's not nearly enough money like what I used to making building houses.
Yeah.
I don't want to build fucking houses. I was ready to live off $1,000 a month for the rest of my life if I had to. And so it's like the bills are paid. And the next thing you know, it was like MTV invited me to go to a MTV Street Music Festival in Austin. And the night before, I almost got arrested. Like make it to the airplane.
Were you with Bar Spinner?
No, I don't know. I don't know if he was in Denver. Maybe he might have been. He might have been.
Okay. He's told me some crazy stories about the MTV that contest. And
Yeah, it sucked because I just come out of my house at 3 a.m. I got to catch a flight at 5:30. Right, I'm up partying. There's girls over. I'm having a good time. I know I have this warrant though, and so I walk out, and these cops are out there because somebody called. We're partying at the Jackson House. It's like legendary BMX house. We're known to party till 3 a.m. It didn't matter. And so, long story short, I walk outside. There's a cop there. They asked me my name, and I was like, I had a roommate named Arn Noriega, and I'm like, my name's Arn Noriega, and they're like, spell it, and I'm like, ran. I ran to the alley. I hid in a trash can, in an alley dumpster. It was cell phones just came out. I got on my cell phone, called the house phone. I'm just in the alley of the house.
Like, oh no.
I'm like, I'm going to hide out here. At 5 o'clock, I need you to come get my bike put together. I think I called Clay. Get my bike put together, take me to the airport. So long story short, make it to the airport, go to MTV contest, walk in, nobody really knows me. Get called Chad Muska a bunch. I don't know what relates me to Chad Muska.
Yeah.
All right, Chad Muska's a bad motherfucker.
Yeah, I'll take it. Sure.
Yeah, for
Thanks,
sure.
man.
Can I have his credential?
yeah, for sure.
So I go there and I get invited as just like an alternative. Somebody got hurt, and it's like then it was a rider vote contest. So if you're riding, you voted who wanted to win. And dude, I just I thought I kicked everyone's ass at that contest. I thought I kicked everyone's ass. I got out of jail. When I got there, Gons and I, Mark Gonzalez and I were just walking, down whatever street it is in Austin with all the bars and
6th Street.
yeah.
Yeah,
And so
6th Street.
we're I walk out the bar with a full can of beer. He's got a full can of beer. We're cruising. Next thing you know, cops come. They just pretty much tackle us. Open container. Take us to jail. Of course, I'm mouthy,
Yeah.
And so they're like, you're going to be probably in jail till Monday morning. This is like Friday night. And I'm like, dude, we're here for MTV contest. Blah, blah, blah. I said MTV. I just threw it out there. Next thing you know, MTV is there getting me and Mark Gonzalez out of jail.
Good God.
They're like, we had to get 4 other people out too.
Oh, jeez.
Come
we
on,
were already on
guys.
the way.
And so the cop who just told me he'll probably be here on Monday was just like, wow, got some pull. And I was like, well, I guess I got some pull.
Yeah.
I'm just not the alternate that showed up. And so then
They're like, we thought we were getting Chad Muska
Yeah, I was
out
about
of
to
jail.
say,
not
yeah,
Chad
just
McMurray.
that's probably what it was. They're like, oh, who's he? But so and so they're like, get me out of jail. And so I'm watching everybody get released. And so they're like, all right, I need you to get undressed because they put you in the county, like property of Austin jail suit, everything.
Oh man.
Just to be there for the night. And I'm like, so I'm watching everybody and I'm like, so you take off your clothes there, you come, they put you in that room, they give you your bag, you put on your clothes, you walk out, and then the guy, and the door opens and you're outside. So nobody's like frisking you to leave jail. And I'm like, I'm still in the whole jail suit. So I put on I have the whole gray jail suit. I put my clothes over it, my hoodie. I go to Pro Street practices going on an amazing course that Tim Payne built. And Tim Payne's like, dude, I've never built a street course this big without stealing all the wood. That's how new Tim Payne was at building stuff. And so I whip out like I'm fucking Superman. Property of Austin jail suit. And I'm like, fuck yeah. And then I entered the contest in property of Austin jail suit. The pants gave away pretty quick. But the shirt was nice. It was comfortable. And so, it's like the jumper style thing. And it's a property of Austin. And then, it's like rider vote. And so technically, like, I don't know, if Ruben Alcantara would have entered, he was there, he was killing it. He didn't get to enter. He was out, one dude out. And so I'm just like, I just did so many dope tricks. I'm just gonna vote for myself. It might be the one fucking vote. I'm a nobody at the time. I mean, they thought I was fucking 𝙎𝘾𝘼𝙍𝙍𝙈. And so what do I got to lose? I'm going against everybody. If anybody, I'm doing truck driver fakies and 180 full bar spins and rollback, half cab in, half cab 360s, and all the shit kids do today. Like, this is fucking 1997.
That's so
like,
crazy.
Just nailing just all of this shit. Brakeless.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're a brakeless first brakeless dude
riding
at the time.
a Sabbath, a flatland bike.
Yeah.
And so,
and you were like the only dude there, probably brakeless.
I was the only dude brakeless. Yeah, only dude. And so, and then, like I said, if somebody was entering and if I thought I honestly got my ass kicked, I'd have definitely voted for him. But I felt like I went there on a mission. I got pretty much escaped the cops in Denver, got put in jail right when I got to Austin. So it's just destiny right now, and I'm going to do what I got to do. And I ended up winning the contest. And so I don't know how many other people voted for me, but apparently I wasn't the only one that felt that way. And
That's
so,
amazing.
yeah. And then after that, it was like, I got a phone call and it was like, hey, Chris wants to give you a pro model bike.
Wow.
So what do you want? And I'm like, I don't fucking care. I don't. Just, I don't know. Make me the Sabbath and just take the fucking platform off of it. Give me a double wishbone. Like, that bike was 19 inches. And I'm like, make it like 19 and a half inches. Give me a little bit more leg room. I didn't even know what a top tube measurement was then, honestly, or an angle of anything. Nothing.
I think it feels
Bottom bracket
good.
height,
This
fucking
was
nothing.
cool.
Yeah, I'm like, fucking perfect. And little did I know, that little decision would just be like, I couldn't believe that I would go everywhere. And there was like, I felt like I was like the Jim Rome show. He always calls his people like clones. I'm just like, this is crazy. Everyone has a all black everything, war pig everywhere. I got little McMurrays just everywhere. That's what it felt like.
With
Little
geometry
McMurrays.
ahead of its time, man.
Yeah, nobody knew what a top two. Nobody cared either. Apparently, nobody cared.
They just wanted to be you, man. You were ripping.
It was crazy, right? It was crazy.
I want to talk about the brakeless thing for a second because
Yeah.
I'm curious, like, where'd that come from? Was that just a thing of like, fuck these brakes, I don't need them, or did they break? Or
Clay Brown and my friend Scott, or our friend Scott Fife, was they lived in Phoenix.
Okay.
And then for a little bit, and so rode with Mar Gonzalez a lot, and so and L's bells. So we were just like, hey, let's go to Phoenix. And so I had my Sabbath at the time with the big standard bars and the front back brake and the 4 pegs and the whole lip trick dude. And so we go to Arizona, and Gons is riding without brakes. Gon's style of brakes is just like, I'm just jumping off shit. I'm a backflip off the tree. You don't need brakes to be crazy Gons, right? And so then I saw a video of 𝙉𝙊𝙍𝙍𝙈 do a nose pick. He had front brakes, but he didn't squeeze the front brake. He just found the sweet spot and go up, and he would roll and then go back in. I was like, dude, that is sick. And so then it was like a combination of riding with Gons for a weekend, seeing how tech you could be with 𝙉𝙊𝙍𝙍𝙍 doing the front wheel thing. And then I couldn't do a tail tap before that. We used to have a jump box at the V, and so a little wood lip to a little bit of a wood deck. And so I learned tail taps on this little 4-foot jump box. And I was like, wow. You can stall. Like, this is like early 90s, late 90s, and so mid 90s. And so everybody had front back brake. Everybody had 4 pegs. We're freestylers.
Yeah.
And so it was just like that weekend, the clip of Sato, the couple of days later, I do a tail tap. And it was like, then we're at the Gravity Games a couple of weeks later. And my hands were just blood. They were just ripped from my brakes. Ooh. Like, those Diacomp things with the
catching you under the
hinge on it.
Yep.
And that thing would just this part of my, it was just raw. Like, you ride 8 hours, 10 hours every day, hard, and brakes, and just like those things never healed.
Yep.
And then so I broke a brake cable, my gyro. One of the cables broke, and I'm just like, I've just been experimenting with this brakeless thing. And so it's gravity games, a pretty big contest,
Pretty big.
Providence, Rhode Island, NBC. And I'm like, it's like business decision. Like, can't find a bike shop, first of all. Couldn't even really find a bike part, let alone a gyro cable in like minutes. So I took off the brakes and like, it was magical.
Just set everything in motion.
It was magical. Like every fakey trick I did felt higher, felt faster, felt bigger, felt sassier, felt meaner, felt like aggressive, felt out of the box. I didn't fit in with everyone else. I didn't look like everyone else. I didn't have other people's shit. And just I didn't have, my hands felt great. And I just like, then it was just one thing after the next. Just, you already do a bunch of tricks, but then you do them brakeless and nobody's seen like, a basic truck driver, brakeless truck driver. And like, then you're doing brakeless truck driver fakies and like inventing tricks.
For sure.
Not looking at your phone, see somebody did it, you do it. Back in our day, you had to wait a month or two for a fucking magazine to come out. And so,
or a VHS tape or
yeah,
something.
and then all of a sudden you realize that you're that dude that's going to be in a month with a new trick, and it's brakeless, and it's like, it just evolved and evolved and evolved. And then it's just, now it's like fucking 25, 27 years later.
And everybody rides brakeless.
And it's just wild.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's so sick.
I used to have these shirts, I made them by hand, but they were NBC, so no brake crew. And there was only like 5 of us, like 5 people.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So,
do you ever think, like, going back to where you grew up and stuff, and then obviously your passion for riding bikes and everything, but did it ever cross your mind, you're like, I'm never fucking going back there? It's always up and up, or was that just not even in your mind? You were just concentrating on riding bikes and just bettering yourself?
No, like, growing up, once I identified bike riding and magazines and videos and like who's who, what's what. And so it was Eddie Fiola. So all the big bowls and pipeline and all that. And I'm like, I just want to like graduate high school and I want to move and chase this happiness that I have for like bike riding, how it made me feel. So I moved to Iowa and rode with Rick Monturno and Kurt Schmidt and Bill Nitschke and learned, like when I moved there, Clay Brown is like, don't go there and steal everyone's tricks, And so I was like, I don't really fucking know how to take that.
Yeah.
Like, that's what we've been doing our whole life. Like, you watch a video clip or you get a magazine, you see the new trick, you fucking go learn it. Yep. So is it called doing everyone else's tricks? But then when I got there, I was like, well, there's a reason I'm not going to do any of their tricks. These guys are fucking badass.
Yeah.
You're not going to catch me riding a coaster brake, engaged coaster brake. Engage coaster brake and do a tail whip to a Bubaka on a sub box.
Imagine doing that. That's crazy. It's always crazy to me too that scene existed in Iowa.
Yeah,
like,
dude, Rick, man.
The middle of, I guess they didn't have anything else to do, maybe. I don't know. Like, amazing bike riders, and all they had to do was ride bikes because there ain't much going on out there.
But when you're in those little towns, like you guys grew up here, there's a small little town shit that you get to do that big city kids like me don't do. Yep. Like in Iowa's Wildcat Den. You go to Wildcat Den and watch like those little lightning bugs, of course you're on some like mushrooms or something. And so it's like, or jumping off a rock quarry or going to a fucking corn maze. Yeah. In the Halloween corn maze.
Yeah, it's like different shit.
I don't have this in the city.
Yeah.
I just don't. I hear gunshots, but it's not for hunting,
Yeah.
So that was just different. It's different.
How long did you live in Iowa for?
About a year and a half. Bunch of drama happened. Bunch of shit. I was like there to ride my bike, and next thing you know, I'm being accused of stealing a bike and breaking into standard. And then, just last year I learned that during this episode of breaking into a bike shop that I actually took bikes apart and built my own bike while I was in there. And just whatever I want. I was like, that's fucking pretty ballsy if somebody actually did that. And so moving on to that is like, live with some roommates. We're all drunk. The neighbor, fucking crazy redneck Iowa style. Like, you got to be where my roommate and the neighbor was just drama back and free. Wasn't a bike rider. My roommate, just some random work dude I worked with. And the Mustang 5.0 got caught on fire. Like, neighbors lit his car on fire. And I'm like, I'm fucking moving. Like, I'm not here to fucking be rednecking hard like this, hard.
Wow.
So,
That's gnarly.
Yeah.
So did you come back to Colorado after that?
Back to Denver, yeah.
Okay.
And then right after that, this is before all the sponsor stuff, but Sheep Hills was having a dirt jumping contest. This is the coolest story, though. This is the coolest. This is the one that really kicked. I should have started with this fucking.
All right.
So Sheep Hills having a contest. And I already like, all right, so I've identified myself as like, I got some rad tricks. Sheep Hills having a contest. So I'm like, I'm going to jump on a Greyhound bus. I'm going to go into Long Beach. I think Robbie Morales picked me up. Like, took me to Todd Lyons' house. Went to Sheep Hills contest. Everyone there, Brian Foster. I remember this quote forever. I could not jump these fucking jumps, titties. Couldn't jump titties. Long and low and do it ground up. And so Brian Foster's like, you're a freestyler. Freestylers pedal like this. Racers pedal like this.
Nice,
So
smooth,
it's like,
consistent pedals.
I was like, wow. And in my head, I'm like, but you fuckers don't have 4 pegs. Or platform.
Yeah. What's up?
Yeah. And so it's like I got used to the jump, and then contest started and everyone comes out with like their cross up or whatever. And I just blast a decade air. Blast it. Fuck yeah. Then it was just tail whip, like 360 for Jay Mirra just came out. The Jinx video is just all these threes at titties. And I was watching that like a week before, and I'm like, I got 100 more 360s than Jay Mirra.
Oh, jeez.
And I did. I mean, I emulated everyone who did threes. Jay Mirra and Hoffman, Mirra. I see him do it, I'm doing it. Like right now and then. It's like, and so then next thing you know, I won. I won Sheep Hills contest. I couldn't believe it.
Damn.
I'm laying on the floor at Todd Lyons' house. And Robbie Morales is like, I don't know. Robbie Morales is like, I don't know if you just changed everything. You changed the whole game.
That's sick.
Dude.
Yeah, it was
That's
crazy.
cool.
And so I won airline tickets anywhere I want to go. Never used them, but on top of that, I won a high tensile steel Schwinn frame. Like, I gave it to some kid right there. Like, what am I going to do with this thing? I just won, Sheep Hills contest the whole way there. I'm like, what am I doing? Why am I going here? It's like the best riders in the world.
While you're sitting there on the Greyhound bus wondering what the fuck you're going to go do.
Yeah, just like fucking puzzled.
That's crazy. It's crazy to hear the names too, like, Robbie Morales and Todd Lyons, because like those dudes are like legendary too, and they're still in the game just doing cool stuff. And yeah, it's cool to hear, because back then they were kind of in the same boat as you, like probably nobody really know who they were.
Well, they got at like, T.O. was at the POW house, and then now he's living at like the house where Spike Jones like lived.
Yep.
Whoa.
And so, and then, a couple years passed and I moved to Huntington Beach and I'm at the HB house. And then Todd Lyons like, I bought a house. I'm moving out of the other house. So Spike Jones' house. I'm like, I'll take it. Cause I'm sharing a room with Timmy Ball, and I have like 10 other roommates, and I'm making plenty of money. I don't need $200 rent anymore. You know? I can afford $1,000 rent or $1,500, whatever. It was cheap, I thought, but it was just weird. Like I always thought, like that night I was laying here on the floor at TL's house and Robin Morales, and then now it's my house.
Whoa!
That's
it was that same house?
Yeah, same fucking house.
That's cool.
So lived there, partied, and had fun, and then they we used to ride the Black Bull at Vans all the time. That was my bowl. That was my spot. And, Brian Foster and John Pova and Nate Hansen and Josh Hino and Joey Garcia, we'd be there every night and just like ripping it, just like killing the bull. That's all we'd fucking cared about, just to go ride the bull.
That's so sick.
And so, and then they buried it to build a little street course thing on top of it. I was just pissed. But I can get away with it. All right. I live in Southern California. I got to ride with fucking idols, like fucking icons, not just idols.
Yeah, the
icons.
sickest dudes. Yeah.
And so I'm just like, all right. So Ventura's, 2 hours away in traffic. And I start calculating. Sheep Hills wasn't really running that great then. So it kind of died out a little bit. And then we rode Hidden Valley a lot. Then they plowed Hidden Valley. And I'm just like, those are my 2 spots. And I'm just done. I don't want to live in California anymore. I'm going to move back home. So moved back to Denver and thought everything was good. And then I got a letter in the mail that says your last check from S&M.
Oh, no.
And I was like, wow, I wasn't expecting that. And then a year later, I'm still making great money from Puma and Signature Shoe.
Yeah, I want to talk about that for a second because, we were talking about that yesterday, the Puma thing, like how crazy it is that they were involved so heavily in BMX.
Yeah.
Did you get to help develop that shoe?
Well, it was, like the whole S&M team rode for Puma.
Okay.
And then I got put on S&M. And then that whole thing grew out. Not even I expected to go to the level that I did or took it with the brakeless thing and my own thing.
Yeah, like your own personal brand almost.
It's like a business. It's a
identity almost.
Yeah, it's a what is it? Entity.
Yeah,
it's your own corporation.
Yeah,
all of a sudden, and you're just like you got, there wasn't many people that had pro model bike or signature watch or signature backpack and signature shoes. And then it was like, I have this opportunity to have this signature shoe. I can't believe Puma is like Puma. Like I used to break dance in fucking Pumas, right? So it was like, I designed a shoe and then a low top. I drew it to perfection. And so Puma's like, how do you know so much about shoes? And it's like, because I ride bikes. The sole, I can't have a sharp edge on the end. It has about a rounded edge. So when you fold your ankle, if it doesn't snap, it just rolls. And so they didn't get little concepts like that in my head. And so I designed a shoe. They made it. I get the shoe about 6 months later, and it's called the Havana. And I was like, what the fuck's the Havana? It's supposed to say Troy McMurray on the tongue.
Yeah.
And it was a gray suede white stripe. And so they're like, it's the hotel we stay at, Indonesia, where the shoes are made. It's like, well, this is bullshit.
Yeah, this isn't what we talked about.
Yeah. So I'm not going to get money off that. No. You get your check. That's what we pay you for. Represent Puma. And I'm like, well, fair enough. Well, I guess we'll move on. And then, ironically, Chad Muska comes back full circle. My friend Frank Skura, he knew I was unhappy with Puma. And I'm just like, I just got to weigh the two. I got to make one battle the other to get what I want. I got Muska that's going to fake support what I'm doing by giving me shoes and giving me gear. So I went to a contest. Puma representatives were there. They thought they came out with the Troy McMurray Havana shoe. And I'm all decked out in Circa.
Yeah.
And they're like, what? When'd you? And I was like, I didn't really dig, I draw a shoe and, design. I think I'm paving the way. There wasn't signature shoes from companies. There wasn't,
especially for riding BMX.
Yeah, there wasn't signature colorways, nothing. So I'm like, no, dude, it's more than just me getting a signature shoe. I'm like, honestly, I always believed if you're on the come up, you got to bring people with you and you got to open doors and opportunities for people behind you. And so I was pissed, right? Yeah. I fucking break bones. One when I wreck, it's catastrophic sometimes. So it's like I felt just disrespected in a lot of ways because I know Puma's already making money.
Yeah.
Like I need to make more money. And so,
well, they're making money off of you breaking bones, which sucks.
Yeah. When I first got on Puma, I thought I was so fresh. I was wearing a Puma breakdancing suit. I was at the bar. There's a little black girl. She was so beautiful. And I thought I hit on her. You know, I had dreadlocks. I'm just gangstered out, I thought, right? I got like bandana, Puma breakdancing suit on. I got the suede. I got the fat lace, the dreadlocks. I go over and I think I'm going to be a Mac daddy to this girl. She's just like, Puma, is that even still a company? And I was just like,
shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's kind of right. Kind of right. But then years later go by, you know, Puma's goddamn everywhere. And then I have this shoe coming out that ends up being Havana. Anyway, long story short, back to Muska. Frank Skura's like, let me make some phone calls. So I go to this contest. It was a Triple Crown or something on the beach. And I think it was in Venice that year. I think it was a Soul Bowl contest.
Oh, is that in Huntington?
Yeah.
Costa Mesa, I think.
I think they had one in Venice, though. Same kind of situation. Remember, it was definitely in Venice Beach. Puma reps are there. They see me. They're, you know, not expecting me to be in Circa gear. And so I'm Circa head to toe. And like, we have this. I just did a photo shoot with 𝙎𝘾𝘼𝙍𝙈𝙇 and Serena Williams. So we had these big billboards on the side of 405. On the side of the 405, right out of LAX, there was me and 𝙎𝘾𝘼𝙍𝙈. And so they had tons of money invested into me and marketing me. And so, but I was standing my ground. I don't give a fuck. You're not going to do that. And so they're like, we'll give you your signature shoe. We'll make sure that it has Troy McMurray on it. And I was like, well, then we're on. So I rode for Circa for like seriously about 4 days.
That's
but I ended up getting the shoe. I ended up getting to draw it, every detail, every little thing, how I wanted it glued together, how many stitches I wanted in it.
That's so
everything.
sick.
So there wasn't that before.
Yeah.
There wasn't that. It was like not even colorways. Like I said, you didn't have a basic model Vans shoe, and just because you make it black and white, it's all of a sudden your shoe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that didn't
No,
exist.
it didn't exist. It didn't.
That's crazy. Do you still have a pair of those shoes?
I just got a pair. I just a friend sent me a pair. It's like I did a podcast, the Tough as Nails podcast, and we were talking about how I never kept shit. I was always like, if it doesn't fit in a backpack, in the trunk of the Impala, I don't need it. And so I didn't keep nothing. And so then you get older and you have kids and like realize like I'm hoarding a bunch of kid shit and I don't have nothing cool of mine.
Yeah.
So that conversation was heard. I got a pair sent to me. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
That's
dope.
sick.
Yeah.
They're
So
such
they're
cool shoes.
10 and a
too.
half too. And so, but you know how everything is. They were great when I got them. I put them on. I was like, these fucking shoes are uncomfortable.
How did I ride in these things?
Yeah, I was like, a new shoe is like, you know, a pillow on my feet.
Oh, yeah. Dang, that's so freaking rad.
Oh, I was going to ask about this Impala.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's actually the next question I was going to ask, too.
Yeah.
How many Impalas did you have?
I've had two
Okay.
Impalas. I had a Biscayne, which is a fake Impala, but like a 63. That is 65 Impala, which is like my Impala that like most people know about, a silver with a red interior. But Freddie Chulo and I would just say, Freddie, want to go to Denver? And Impala tour would be the question, and be like, you know it. Like, let's load the bikes up and drive it from Huntington to Denver, ride all weekend, drive back to Huntington, like frequently.
Dang.
We drive that fucking car everywhere.
In the Impala.
Everywhere, yeah, everywhere. Burning Man. Drove the Impala, like, you know, meet the street in San Francisco, drive the Impala, drive the fucking Impala, like everywhere.
So cool.
You know, Tupac playing out loud as it can go. And
Is that the, so I heard a story one time that Moeller gave you like an advance to buy the Impala. Is that the one?
Impala. Yeah, what is that? I think we were at Squaw Valley, dirt jumping contest. Another crazy story. Colin Winkleman's starting shit with somebody, and then I'm believe it or not, I was an innocent bystander. So I'm getting in the back of the truck ready to leave, and a full bottle of Budweiser or something blows up in my face, like disintegrates my eyeball. Pretty much. Splits it open, and so I had like 1 hour of practice that day. So got used to the jump. It was a jump. It was like the typical 30-foot.
Pedal as fast as you can.
But this was on that Squaw Valley at ski resort, so you just coast down a hill. And so, next day was practice, like say Saturday, and then Sunday was the contest. So Saturday I didn't practice at all. I had a big, like a pirate patch, and then butterfly Band-Aids all over my eye and super glue. And then I entered the contest. And then I won that contest with a patch on my eye. Shit talking. Just fucking shit talking fucking everybody. Shit talking like Corey Anastasio. Like my favorite quote from Corey that contest was like, "Man, dog, I love riding with you. I fucking hate riding against you." So I was like, yes. I come from football like mentality, like, your mama.
Yeah, getting in everybody's head a little bit.
Yeah, like competitive, right?
Yeah.
Like you're gonna let everybody just float through like we're all getting along. Now I was like, I wanted to win. I wanted to shit talk. I wanted to make I was there. I wanted to be that dude.
Yeah. Make your presence known a little bit.
Well, it's like, dude, everybody gets along in BMX. We love each other. We're a fucking family. Like I'll fucking fight to the death for a dude I barely know.
Yeah.
He rides bikes. I'm especially back then. I didn't give a fuck. Want to fight? Let's fight. For what reason? We're fighting. That's the reason. Because you fucking want to do something to him. Now you're gonna do it to me.
Yeah, we're all one.
Yeah, and so it's like just shit talk. And Corey, he would do backflips, and it's like, man, fuck, I already seen you do like 100 of those. That's what I would say that to people. Like, how many times are you gonna fucking do that trick? Because I would just get in their head, Afterwards, I'm giving you a hug, I'm buying you a beer, I'll buy you whatever. But during contest time, no. It's like the ghetto in me, like, always had to come out.
Yeah.
And so
have to be a little cutthroat.
A little, like, it's sports.
It's friendly still, but I mean, it's competitors.
It's sports, and when there's a paycheck waiting for you, I don't care if your feelings are hurt, but I'm going to talk shit on you. Well, I'm riding. Like,
you needed that gas money for the Impala, dude.
I didn't. So I didn't have the Impala then, but so I won that contest, and I was like, $1,000. I won $1,000. Probably cost $1,000 to get me there. It's like airline flight, hotel, and 1,000 deep already. So, but I came out with $1,000, and I was like, I used to build model cars. I love building model cars. The model I was just so happened to be building was a lowrider 65 Impala. And so there used to be this Auto Trader magazine that you buy at 7-Eleven. And they had this 65 Impala in there. It was like $3,000. And I was like, gosh. It needed a lot of work, but I called Chris and I was like, dude, look, like, you pay me in advance on all my war pigs. I didn't have to wait for sales. I didn't have to wait for 100 frames to be made to make money. He just got 100 frames, he'd pay me. And so I need an advance. I found this car. What year? I'm like, 65 Chevy. And he's like, that's a good year. Next day I got the money. Like,
just wired it over.
Wired. Yeah. Like to, Western Union or whatever. And so Western Union got the money, bought the car, kind of put a new engine in it. My brother, who painted gas stations at the time, painted it burgundy for me, all one gas station color, just because it was like 5 different colors when I bought it. It was a little dented, and he fixed some things. And then I drove it from Denver to Huntington, and then, just built the car the right way.
That's sweet, dude.
And Freddie Chulo and I would just drive that shit everywhere.
Bumping Tupac.
Freddie Chulo, man, what a name that is.
I love Chulo. He's my dude.
Mm-hmm. That's it, SHL, right?
Yeah, all day. His son Armando is my godson.
Very cool.
It's to see Mondo grow up and to be a BMXer and put into cars and racing, and it's just cool. I fucking can't believe that I'm a godfather to a few kids. I'm like, when they ask me, will you be their godparent? I'm like, me? The fucking, of course.
That's so sick, dude.
So yeah, Armando, and Chulo, and just crazy.
Life's crazy, man.
Yeah, it's a whirlwind.
I want to talk about you wanting to be a breakdancer, listening to Tupac. Like your music selection is always all across the board.
Yeah.
You play music too. You always have good music going at the session. I know that you've been in a couple bands too. So I'm gonna let James go from here because this is his question.
This is my question. So, like, obviously, social media is just like your daughters are obviously. That's just the way they know life. Like us growing up, we didn't have any social media and stuff. And then we saw it as an avenue to like self-express and everything. And then also maybe get some writing out there. But as far as like, did you have a MySpace page?
Fuck. You know what? I might have signed up for a MySpace page. But I can't remember ever like interacting on MySpace.
Doing anything. So my question is going to be basically, if you did have a MySpace page, what was the song that you had? Because you could have a song, you could have your wallpaper and stuff.
No, dude, then that's how much I use it. I didn't even know that you could have.
What song would you have had back in like say 15 years ago?
Yeah, when would that have been? Like 2005, say? Yeah, about 2005-ish.
Like what were you listening to back then?
Dude, I was I was living at a punk rock house.
Okay.
Called Panther Country.
Oh,
okay.
That's sick.
And it was like it was death metal. It was a death metal house. Like so probably at the time it'd have been definitely the Denver scene. Black Lamb is some Denver dudes, just sludge metal.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely probably would have been Black Lamb. I really loved like the lead singer, Brian Hagman. And it just independent music for sure then. And we lived at a house, so we're like, have a band, but the band would just be like whoever's at the house drinking and doing cocaine.
Okay, yeah.
That's who's in the band tonight.
I fucking love that.
That's a sick band.
So we were called IDFC. So I don't fucking care. And I have it on my fingers.
Oh, that's amazing.
Hell yeah.
And then it
Tattooed on
turned
the
into like, I
knuckles.
don't do fat chicks or I don't front coke.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's all these IDFC things.
Yeah.
But definitely then would be that.
Okay.
Yeah.
What would your song, if you had to pick a song today that would be representative of you, what would it be? That's a hard one.
No, I think it would. I have it. Like I said, my daily song that I start off my day with. Like it's this "Girl Taco No" song. It's really funny to say that.
Yeah.
But it just represents what I like.
Just some fun.
It's got some metal in there. It's got some Ozzy. It's got some hip hop. It's got samples. And my daughter's like, my daughters are my world. So
yeah.
when I turn it on, they're not with me. I just get the energy that they are.
Is that what we listened to this morning?
And
That's amazing.
It's my stretch song. It's my morning. It's my wake up.
Heck
it's my,
yeah.
I don't, now they're going to know this, but they don't. They don't know that. Really, that's my go-to wake up when I'm at the park. So I like beating everyone there. So I can play my shitty music.
Yeah.
No, dude, I was digging it today. That was good shit.
good.
It was super fun.
That's funny when I see a little Mary May sing it and all the cuss words that come out. And she's like so stoked that she gets to cuss.
That's amazing.
What's your daily routine look like? Like waking up, making
Wake
coffee?
up 6:35 every day. Most of the time at 6:31. And I lay in bed till I hear that alarm silently go off. And then, it's get the kids ready for school and get them out the door. And then lay on the couch a couple hours, watch First Take, listen to Stephen A. yell about some bullshit, and smoke a joint. And then after I smoke that joint, I'm fired up and ready to go. And so most of the time, it's I'm at the skate park by 10 or 9:30. Just like routine. And make it home by 2 or 2:30, pick up the kids from school, make sure they read, do their homework. I make dinner, I clean the kitchen, feed everyone. I clean up the kitchen again, take the dog on a walk, and fucking by 9:30 I'm exhausted. But then I don't fall asleep till about midnight. But I just lay in that bed and try to be silent.
Just think about bike tricks.
Think about the next day session.
I try to limit the thinking about bike tricks. Really, I do, because I fucking will lay there. I'll get fucking anxiety. And then my insomnia kicks in. And then everything else kicks in. And then all my thoughts and all my fucking like questions, my doubts, everything kick in. Once I start thinking about one thing, it turns into fucking 7,000 things. So, no, I try to limit the thinking about bike riding to a little bit of a degree, because when I'm riding like daily, you know, that's my time to really think about that. But then a lot of times, though, it's like dreams like present rad bike tricks.
Yeah, I saw one come to life today, actually, and that was such a cool experience to get to watch.
It's just so crazy that you can actually dream about a trick. Like dreams are like dreams, right? It's not like reality, really. It's not. It's just fucking like you're hallucinating while you're sleeping.
Yeah.
Because like you can have fucking you can have a fucking dragon spitting Cheerios at you 1 minute, and then the next minute you're like, what the fuck trick was that?
Yeah. It's weird how real some of that stuff feels sometimes.
Yeah. Like it's so real that you go to the skate park the next day and you're like, oh, I remember and you do it.
It's like the muscle memory's there from the dream almost.
And especially like when you stick it first try and you're just like, what?
That shouldn't have
I've
worked.
done this before.
Yeah. It's like weird like that, you know, like it happens, you know, a pretty good amount, I think. It's like keeps like the creative energy good. I just love coming up with like just anything different.
Yeah.
I like different. Like I will do a fucking running caveman over every obstacle I can just because I know it's different and I don't see people doing it.
Yeah.
So
I love that about your style too, though. Is like, I mean, you talked about that, like wanting to ride different bikes than other people and stuff like that. And like being brakeless, just kind of being like against the grain of what other people are doing. And I think that's really fun because that's opposite of what most people want to do. Most people are wanting to like wear the same clothes as somebody or like ride the same bike or do the same tricks. And like that gets really boring really quick, you know, if everybody was doing the same shit.
I mean, if we all look the same, we all act the same, this fucking world would be boring.
Dude,
you know?
it'd be
just
so
fucking
boring.
miserable.
Dude, it really would.
Yeah. Fucking and like, yeah, I like to be out of the box. On the same point, though, I like to fit in.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to be so far out there that people are like,
what is this guy doing?
yeah.
I want to jump back a little bit to that like Puma, thank you, the Puma S&M era, and talk about Dave Mirra Pro BMX 2.
Oh.
I know this is probably a question that you get asked a lot. So you were in a video game.
Yeah.
How did that come to be?
Well, it's like, you know, at the bar.
Yeah.
We're at the bar. Like, before all that, it was like Hoffman was getting a video game.
Yep.
And so I was asked about being in the Hoffman game briefly. And then Mirra was like, Acclaim signed me. We're going to do a video game. And I would love if you would be a character. And it's like, you know, like, it's crazy. Like, you know, you set that path. You know, like I'm going to have a signature shoe my way, my design, my name, opening doors.
Yep.
And so, and then a couple of years later goes by and you're like, did he really just ask me that? Like, I'm going to be in I'm a video game character.
It's bizarre.
Bizarre. Like way fucking bizarre. Like, not to bring back like, hey, look, I fucking grew up fucking poor. If I had to steal from you to survive, I will.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, and then all of a sudden you're like, so not only are we going to, like, if you say yes, you're going to get a pretty good check. And so back at that time, it's like, what can I do to make money to ride my bike more?
Yeah.
So fuck yeah, I want to be in your video game. Plus I love Mirra. Like, he was my dude. And Mirra used to, at the Gravity Games one year, he's like, did you go like this to me the last contest? And I'm like, what?
So if you're
like
listening to this, he's rubbing his eye with the middle finger up right now.
And I'm like, I would never flip you off, dude. I fucking love you. Like, you're fucking Dave Mirra.
You say I love you while you're rubbing your eye, flipping him off.
Yeah. No, but so he asked me, and like, what do you say? Fucking fuck no. How much money? It wasn't none of that. It's just like yes, and the money wasn't. Money was cool, but it wasn't. It was like, no, I'm gonna be a video game character.
Dude, it's bizarre to think about that because it's like it immortalizes you. Like you live on forever through a video game.
Yeah,
and
there's pressures that come with that.
Sure. Oh yeah,
and hard ones.
I'm sure, man.
And a lot of it.
What are some of those pressures that you feel like still today?
Oh, come on, do the handrail. It's your job. And you're like, it's a fucking 40-stair rail. It's higher than my handlebars. It's fucking like death. But
Yeah.
you think just because I get paid to ride a bike that like I'm your guy? You're joysticking me down this rail right now. And so it got to be where, expectations are on a different level.
Yeah.
All of a sudden.
Yeah, because you become like no longer immortal because
You're not just down R1 Triangle in real life, right?
Yeah, but people assume that you are because they're playing your character. I've never even
I have
considered
never even thought about that. Yeah.
Do a bong rip, fucking down R1 Triangle, and then fucking do whatever you fucking trick I want them to do. But then they go ride with you, and
they're wanting to see that.
They want to see the action.
Yeah.
And sometimes it works out, right? Like
Sure.
the same thing about dreaming and tricks and video games. So like on the video game, it's like I learned 360 to Smith grinds over a jump box on the video game. And then we're at Ventura Street. Was that Skate Street?
Skate Street, yeah.
We're at a bike contest there. And like, I was like, last night I did a 360 to Smith grind on the video game. So here's the perfect setup here. So Chris Miller's like, do it. And I'm like, I fucking am.
That's so sick.
And so the first one I did, I like 360 and I eyeballed it. I landed right next to the ledge and I'm like, it's on.
That's amazing.
And then I did it again and I like landed 360 to Smith. Big, a legit jump box, like not just some little shit. And then my front peg slipped off and broke my nose, knocked a tooth, like chipped a tooth out. And then Muller's like, I'll never ask you to do another trick again.
Oh, man.
So I sat in the van. They go to a strip bar. I'm fucking concussed.
And beat up in the back of the van while they're all having fun.
Yeah, I was just pissed.
Dang.
Yeah. That's like that kind of thing, though.
Yeah.
It's just like extra pressure. It was extra. Maybe it wasn't for everyone else.
Yeah.
For me and concussion syndromes.
Yeah.
They make you doubt some things, what you are, who you are. And the depressions that come along with that. And I think it just all got to a point where I'm just like, I don't want to be that.
Yeah.
I'm not here
Bigger
for
than
I'm
that.
not here for your, entertainment.
For
really.
sure. Yeah, I
So-
guess, I've never really thought about that before. Like being a character, like people look at you as that, like you're their entertainer almost.
Maybe
so.
that's not, like I said, that happens to everybody. But
Yeah.
for me, that's how I felt.
Yeah.
It just was like it was really cool. And it was really cool to be like Mirra, Nyquist, and me in both the games. Like I'm the third dude. I'm not the last dude.
That's so crazy.
That is really
So,
cool.
It's like a pecking order. And I was stoked to be in the third pecking order.
Yeah.
And so that went on. Then we're supposed to come out with Day Mirra 3. We signed contracts. And then it was kind of like the Puma thing. You get the video game, you're like, what the fuck's a Slim Jim character?
Yeah.
How can you're riding chicks around on your pegs all of a sudden? It's like, and Mirra's like, I don't really want no part of that. And I'm in my head, it's like, well, then come out with a Troy McMurray game because I'm all about fighting people, going to bars and riding chicks around on my pegs. It's fun.
Slim Jim's awesome.
Yeah. But the game never like fully came out, and I don't think anybody ever got paid on the third one.
No, that's a bummer.
No, it was it's cool as it. One was cool.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe two.
That too.
So-
I mean, the second one, like Matt's been in town for a little bit, and I still have my PlayStation 2 and like still have that game, and every time he's in town, we're just playing that game so much.
I have one
dude.
too, but I can't. It's either the game sucks or the gaming system sucks. I can't figure out which one doesn't work.
Oh,
So,
that's a bummer.
I have them both.
Yeah.
I
That's
have
sick
a
you have both of
system
them.
and a game. I just don't know which one's not
Something's not jiving. I always say, we talked about it, I think, on Michael Aaron's podcast a couple weeks ago, but I want to do a bracket contest playing that game with different people.
my God.
I think that would be so
That would
fun
be
for like
funny.
$1,000 like purse or something
yeah.
like that. Just like
Well, I would suck at it. I would get last. I'd get motion sickness when I play that shit.
Oh no.
Yeah, the claim would be like, so what do you think of the game? I'm like, it's great. When's the check coming? It's like I could never play it. Like I'd play it and it's like, oh dude, I feel like I gotta go throw up.
Oh, that's crazy.
Motion sickness, craziness, and so I never got good at it.
I think it's funny too, like at the beginning of this episode we talked about like you saying like you thought you were gonna get to go to Woodward at one point and then like you're in a video game that had Woodward in it. Like how cool is that?
That was the first time
like, coming full circle.
Like that was like I think so it was my freshman year. So in '88. So in '88 is when I thought I was gonna go to Woodward, and so I think it was like 2001 or 2000 mega tour, Dave Mirra mega tour, drive the big luxury tour bus across the United States and ride our bikes. And so that was the first time we went to Woodward, or I went to Woodward. And so, 18 years later.
With legends.
Yeah. And so then first time being at Woodward is also the first time I ever camped. And so the camping was this. We had a big luxury bus. We had RVs. We had beds everywhere. And so we all go to Walmart and buy tents, and we all sleep in a camping site somewhere by Woodward, Pennsylvania.
That's amazing.
And then I'm like, dude, I've actually camped. I mean, sure, it's outside of like $1 million luxury tour bus. But then we rode up. I don't think one of us took a sleeping bag with us or a tent. We just left everything there.
Just living the dream, dude.
Yeah, dude, just full on. Like,
so earlier, just a wee bit ago, you were saying that you would be presented with these opportunities like being in a video game and stuff, and you just do whatever it took to be able to make enough money to be able to continue to ride your bike. So obviously you're still riding your bike today. What are you working on? Like how are you still riding your bike today? What have you been doing?
well, this is where I might cry. So, what I have is a very amazing woman that allows me to pursue. So, top of that, I have like I work on houses.
Mm-hmm.
I fucking hate it. I try not to. I think getting a job is a fucking bad habit. It's just a bad habit. It takes away from everything you can do. So, but unfortunately, you got to pay bills, and so I try to limit the work with what I tell Sammy J is my part-time job.
Okay.
So really what I really need is a part-time job. But yeah, I'm trying to make this bike company Reclamation
Right, yeah.
work, but it's very hard. I had a bike company once, Evolution Bikes, and a tour here that went wrong, and then some drug addictions and like girlfriends and chasing women and being in bands and all that shit. You just lose your priority. But now I have this priority to try to make Reclamation. I've been at it for like a year and a half. I've been riding for Reclamation for like about 5 years now. But last year about this time, I just had to pull my friend Fred Gates and Robert Riley to the side and say, look, it's cool that I get to, if I want to fly somewhere and go to an event, and I got to take my family with me, and all that's great. But like, it's hard riding for a company where people are like, dude, what bike is that? Can I go get that? And you're like, nah.
Yeah, just explain a little bit about the company. Give us a little bit of background.
Well, Reclamation Bikes is like Flatland, pretty much. They I'm not really sure what all the Flatlanders that we actually do help, but we help a lot of Flatlanders. Like with money, we help with travel. We'll pour at the Nowhere compound. We poured a gigantic Flatland concrete pad for Flatland demos at the Corn Hucket Jam. So it's like primarily just Flatland. I'm trying to make it not Flatland. I'm trying to make it all around company. With all that though, it's a company where, like I said, I have a bike. It's supposed to be on my pro model, but there's only one of them. And so we have frames on the way. We have John Quartz, who used to make FBMs, building our frames. We have handlebars being made here in Colorado. I'm trying to outsource all kinds of things, trying to make every fucking door that opens. I try to see what I can pry out of it. Like, what can I do? not only to help me in reclamation, but to help my friends who have, equipment or a skill or an opportunity themselves to do something. And so when you go at it in small scale, it's a lot harder. Reclamation has a money backing to do whatever the fuck we really want. Truthfully, if I could just slow down my brain and my willingness to slow down and maybe not ride so much, but and make phone calls. But I get so fucking frustrated with phone calls. I hate texting. I hate the text. I hate not hearing someone's voice.
Yeah,
I hate not laughing with somebody.
You're missing out on that connection with somebody.
Full connection, like you. I don't understand. Like, you can type something and put a happy face, and that means like, oh yeah, that's funny.
Yeah,
but it's not as funny as hearing somebody fucking be funny.
Yeah, it's not as genuine, man. It doesn't have that amount of depth that it would if like you get to hear somebody's voice, and you can't fake that either.
And the communication, you can't fake that, right?
Yeah.
If I call you and I'm like, hey, is this, that going down, and I can hear it in your voice if you're stressed out about it or not.
Yep.
So, or if I'm frustrated, like, it's hard because like. We have it's funny, Reclamation Bikes, we bought all of the tubing that standard bikes would use, the OX Platinum. We bought it all out. So we have the only OX Platinum there is. And so
that's the good stuff too.
But we only have a limited number of that because that material is gone. It's done.
That was True Temper, right? I think that's who the manufacturer was.
See, this is where I suck at the business end of it because I don't really know.
Yeah, I think it was True Temper, and they like.
I don't know a measurement of a bike still. I don't know fucking bottom bracket height. I don't know any of that shit. This is what I do. I called AJ and I said, listen, say you're a kid, you walk into a bike shop, you want a fucking 𝙎𝘾𝘼𝙍𝙈𝙼𝙇 frame or kink or Colt. They don't have them, right? This is like after COVID when all the parts... things are running slim. And so, but then you can walk into a shop and then the salesperson says, well, I can get a Reclamation American made with the same geometry as a fucking 𝙎𝘾𝘼𝑍. So I just told AJ and I, just whatever design, whatever fucking measurement you want, whatever angle you want, just let's get it made. Give me one. That's what I'm fucking riding. Yep. That's how I do it. Like, honestly.
I love that.
Like all that technical shit, that's for Robert and Fred and AJ and all them to figure out. My end of it is to get the fuck on the phone, try to make shit happen. Like, I don't need to fucking know what fucking angle is. I don't need to know any of it. I don't care. And what I care about is trying to make really good fucking bikes, American made, people can fucking trust, and it's bike riding. Like I said, we're a fucking bike riding crew. Like, I've known Fred Gates since I was 12 years old. Like, dude's always been a BMXer.
Yeah,
like,
he's
Jumpin' Joe fucking Hendricks and Fearless Fred Gates.
That's a name right there.
These are old school dudes. Yeah. And so in Robert Riley, we go back to 𝙤𝘾 Eggleston's team. We're the Thrash Punks. And so this is like family. But there's only so much that, like, that love can do when it comes to the point where, like, look, I'm fucking almost 50. Like, I'm counting down 3 fucking months or so here. Like, I'm fucking dedicated to taking the next wreck.
Yep.
I'm dedicated to, like, my next wreck could be the last thing I do. My next wreck could, like, it can set forth a whole fucking end of misery. Like, wrecks are vicious. And so, one more concussion, one more snap femur, if you're lucky, So I'm trying to weigh options right now, though. Like, having the company, it's kind of a nonprofit organization. And nonprofit organizations don't really help me pay my bills. And so I'm trying to open other avenues too at the same time and trying to weigh those at the same time. But then, there's this part of my brain is like, well, you're fucking delusional. Like, honestly, you're fucking 50. It's like not much of a fucking market. But really, there is a fucking market.
Yeah.
It's gigantic.
Well, especially for somebody who loves BMX, right? Like, I think that that's like the most important thing here is like you love BMX through and through, and like that's what you care about so much. So like being able to translate that love to other people, like even though you are almost 50, I think somebody who's 16 years old that resonates with them because they see that and they feel that, you know, and I think that's really cool.
Yeah. I mean, you know, it does feel really cool to be there, but I really like I think I ride more like it's for me first and foremost, for me. But then I love on a daily basis that I get, you make me want to go ride my bike again. Dude, you and your daughters made me and my daughter go to the skate park.
That's
cool. It was amazing,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and I get this daily and I'm like, well, fuck yeah, I'm 50.
Yep.
And I'm fucking motivating 50-year-olds to get the fuck off the fucking couch.
Yep.
And fucking learn that, like, dude, I get this all the time. I haven't fucking ridden in like 10 years. And what do I do? And it's like, it's simple. You get your bike out and you fucking go to the skate park or you go to the jumps.
Yep.
And you fucking swallow your fucking pride and fucking start from the bottom. Do a fucking bunny hop today and a 1 foot at bunny hop tomorrow. That's progression.
Just go have fun.
Yeah.
Just go
Smile.
have fun.
And so the most important part is like, get out there. Right. So that's where I'm at with that. What I'm doing to make money, I don't really make money. I don't.
It's all about the love of riding bikes and still being a part of it.
Like if I come up with my couple $1,000s to pay my part of the rent, my part of the bills, then I'm good to go. And so I try to work just minimum. Like I try to be at the skate park more, at the trails more than I try to have bikes doing most of what I do.
That's awesome.
Like if I just stay the course, things come around. It's like impatient though.
Yeah.
And then it's also decisions like, in order to gain something, you have to drop something. You have to leave something behind in order to open another door sometimes.
It's all about that sacrifice, right? And like, I think it's beautiful too. Like, you talk about your lady, Sammy J, and you guys just got engaged. Congrats on that, by the way.
Thank you.
But it's cool to have that support system, to have somebody to lean on when it's like, she sees how passionate you are. She sees how much you love bikes and like, she wants to support you in that. And she sees that you have the vision. And it's so cool to have somebody that's by you that can see that, like help you see that through,
Yeah, but it's like, more like all those goals that I have for myself, I have for my family.
Yep.
Like, it's like, then there's like people like my lady, Sammy J, and I'm just not like, because she's my lady saying this, but she fucking kills it. Like, she does. She's only been riding a few years, never had a BMX bike before she was 32. She's fucking dedicated to this shit. She is like fucking on it. And so, like I tell her, I don't really give a fuck how many tricks you really do. Like, you have fun. You're a role model to moms. You're a role model. Like, that's crazy, right? When you're a role model. It's like a whole different level of like coolness.
Yeah.
So there are moms that like, dude, like, same thing as like the old dude who texts me, I want to get up off the couch. Make me want to just go to the skate park with my kids.
And that's what it's all about, dude.
So I think it like the whole thing is I'm trying to do this like a family. If it can't be me, my daughters, and my soon-to-be wife, then I'm not really interested in representing the brand.
Yeah.
Or a brand.
Yeah.
Like,
it's cool coming as like a package deal like that and being able
it
to
sounds
like show up together.
kind of fucked up to say, and I'll admit it. It's kind of fucked up to say, but if you want to look out for me and mine, I don't.
Yeah,
I don't want.
You're prideful of what's yours, and that's cool.
Yeah,
I
mean, dude, it's hard to be a BMX family, like your parents, right? Invested.
Mm-hmm.
And like making sure the fucking race goes down.
Yep.
Making sure the event goes down without a hitch. It's ran smooth and it's an operation. It's different when you're like a mom and a dad and you're like if you're jumping shit, at any minute it can go wrong.
Yep.
So we sacrifice. Like we put our livelihood on the line daily. Like Sam weighs like 110 pounds. Like, and she gets fucking tossed off her bike. It's like a fucking piece of wet tortellini, right? It's just like
Gets sent, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like hard to watch. You're like, God, I love this chick, and she's just fucking got tossed so far.
Yeah.
So, and then you throw in the girls.
Yeah,
and they're just right behind us fucking wrecking all day.
Yeah, I can't imagine like being a parent and like looking at your kids when they're sending it like that and when they're going down and like
it's like at first it was really easy. Lately, because they are going bigger.
Yeah.
It's like almost terrifying. Like the other day I had to cut Low Mary May off.
Really?
Two big wrecks are in front of me. I'm good. You're good. You've killed it.
You can have as much screen time as possible.
An extra 30 minutes
You got
tonight.
this shit. You can have fucking whatever you want to do. Play Roblox, go for it.
Oh, that's amazing, dude. Well, yeah, I guess before we get into wrapping it up, I kind of want to talk about like injury, and like you've had a pretty gnarly injury in the last couple of years. Like how has that changed as you've gotten older, and like how do you kind of like work through with those kinds of things?
Well, dude, like there's like certain, things that happen in life where you're like, you look at it and you're like, it's the fucking worst thing ever. It's the fucking worst thing ever. Like I exploded my femur. I just didn't like break it. Like exploded is like the way the surgeon put it. Ooh. It was like 17 fractures. Jeez. And so, and one of them went long from my knee to the hip.
Oh my gosh.
And so that was just a long fracture, like the entire width.
Yep.
And so, and then by my knee, it was like 15, 16 other fractures. So fragments of femur bone is just in my knee and in my leg. And so, and like I exploded my femur. I'm like 3 months before that, I wrecked a 360. I cased a 360 with some jumps and severely broke my ribs and punctured my lungs. So 10 days of ICU because I like broke my ribs so bad they had to give me an epidural.
Ooh.
And so they were going to give me a rib plating operation. Rib plating is for like motorcycle accidents, helicopter survivors. And so after like 2 weeks of being in the hospital, 10 days of ICU, all the options weighed, their ribs, they're going to break again. Like my face and my teeth, I'm going to wreck to my face again. I don't need to get these fucking things fixed until I'm done doing this shit. And so when I broke my leg and the doctor is like, they got to tell you all this shit, right? You sign this waiver, you might not, you could die. Operation. But the scary part is you could wake up with no leg. Like, you're like, what?
Oh, man.
You're like, fuck, it's that bad. And you're like, well, we've never seen anything like it. And so you're like, so, you got 24 hours to think about that. And so what are you going to do?
Gosh.
Like not get the operation, not be put under, you don't know what the fuck's going on, right? So I wake up. I just remember I was on a UFO. I was just flying through space, man, the whole time the operation was going down. I realized that I'd still have my leg. And so that was pretty heavy. That was pretty wild, right? So then I was like, this sucks. Because it's like, well, we were just talking about, I don't make much money. I don't give a fuck about that. It's like, I want to ride. But then now I'm at this point where I'm like, I might not ever ride again. Like the broken ribs, punctured lung, that wreck fucked me up so bad. I never had muscle spasms or like I broke my ribs so bad that like the scar tissue from the muscles that pulled apart attached itself to my rib.
Wow.
And so we get these muscle spasms and just like it feels like somebody stabbed me on my back, like with a knife, and just sitting there and be like, whoa! And you're like, fuck, dude, I'm just like, I don't know if I can like keep putting myself through it.
Yeah.
Cause like, this isn't like, these are 2 wrecks of like hundreds, you know? And so, but now I'm like counting down. And so 3 years ago, October 6th, just me and Sam and Jay been having this thing about bar spins. And it's like, I've never seen you do a bar spin. I was like, it's fucking bullshit.
You're like, that's my trick.
Remember when I turned 43, I was doing truck drivers at Barnum. I even got pictures and like, you know. So I do a bar spin error at the jumps. We're like, we're gonna go eat dinner. And so I'm like, meet you at the van. And I do a bar spin over the last set at McKay Lake. And I remember grabbing the bars. Then I remember looking at my leg and it was like an S.
Oh.
And I like just put it back into place. My friend Robert Riley was there. He drove me to the hospital, the same hospital I punctured my lung. They're like, thought I recognized your name.
Like, you need a
This
punch
a great
card?
thing to say.
I'm known at the fucking hospital that's 35 miles from my house.
Oh.
You know? And so I'm like, I'm at that point, I'm like, I think I'm just like, dude, I've had a good run. I've had a good run. And so I try to like preoccupy myself while I was going through rehab. I was in a wheelchair for 6 months, 6.5 months. No weight bearing was the original plan. No weight bearing for 8 months.
Oh my
And
gosh.
so, and then about 7 months later, I tried to do this fucking podcast thing, Tough as Nails podcast. I just like, it was cool. Just like, it didn't replace what bike riding was to me. And so 7 months later, I got a phone call from the city of Denver, the city of Broomfield. And they're like, we need to come get the wheelchair because it was a rental. And I'm like, well, that must mean that I can put weight on my leg. And so even though the doctor's like, got to go, 16 months, no riding, rehab. So 7 months in, I'm like, they call and get the wheelchair. And I'm like, 2 hours later, I'm in Colorado Springs at the Colorado Springs skate park trying to relearn how to drop into a 3-foot mini ramp with a leg that doesn't bend at all. And then the slowest lap I ever took was the funnest lap I ever had. And I was like, fuck.
I'm
I
back.
fucking only, no, it wasn't like, no, it's furthest from back. I'd gained about 50 pounds. It's just like a big meat in the back of my neck. I couldn't fly out. And I'm just like, frustrated because I'm like, before I broke my femur, I thought I was riding like, I think to this day, better than I'm riding right now. I think I'm riding pretty fucking rad right now.
You're riding really
Yeah.
great
So,
right
but
now.
I think before my femur break, I was just insanely crazy. But a lot of that was like, when I broke my ribs, it was like, because I found a meth pipe and I took some hits. And then I broke my ribs. It was Mother's Day on Sammy's Mother's Day. And so that was just like, dude, I can't believe you. Like, you fucking are just like, you. So like, I'm a drug addict. And so it's like, I'm just going to quit riding. And then I got back into riding, and then I broke my leg. And then so I'm like, well, I don't want to go back to doing drugs. Sam's like, shouldn't deserve that. My girls don't deserve that. I don't deserve that. And so it's like I made that decision pretty much the day the wheelchair was taken away, that I'm like 100% fucking invested in just being a bike rider. Like, I don't want to be a drug dealer. I don't want to be a fucking drug user. I don't want to fucking associate with people that are. I don't care if you've been my friend for 30 years or not. If you're like into it, I'm down. I'm gone. I'm done. And then just rededicated myself to just waking up in the morning, trying to have my priority. My priority is a bike. Like, because like when you're a drug user, you'll go through fucking anything to go get high. Like, you'll fucking do anything.
Yeah.
You do dumb behaviors, dumb everything. But bike riding wasn't like that, right? So then that's where I put bike riding at. It's my priority, and it's like I have to get high. I have to get high today. I have to fucking do something that makes me feel like I'm high. And so bike riding just does that for me. It just does it. And I don't need fucking nothing else. I need to smoke a joint. I need to smoke a joint in the morning, and I'm ready to roll. And so that's it.
I love that.
Just fucking lock it down. This is what I'm doing. And then I wanted to open a BMX bike shop. So, you know, I call people. And everyone kind of talks me out of it. Like, why? Go ride your bike. And like, Chris Muller is like, yeah, dude, whatever you need. New parts, so send you parts, get a shop. You got to have a shop, though. Can't do it out of your garage. It's like, yeah, all right. I'm like, I don't want to fucking be in a shop. I don't want to fucking go to work. I want to ride. So I'm just riding. I'm just riding until the fucking wheels fall off. And that's all it's going to be.
That's amazing.
That's sick, dude.
It's my fucking drug of choice.
That's so cool. It's cool to like draw that line in the sand for yourself too, and like make it a priority, not just for yourself, but for your family too. And just be like, this is it now.
Yeah. And then, you know, I decide I'm going to do that. I'm just like, you know, you got to learn everything over tail stalls, tail taps, Smith grinds. But your leg doesn't bend. It doesn't work. You fucking terrified to drop into like an 8-foot bowl for like a year. Like, still have doubts in my head. I don't know what's to the extreme of a wreck I can actually take and land on my leg. I don't know about rolling up the windows on like a 25-foot set or like the big line at Frisco. Like I miss riding that line, but right now it's like my longevity is more important than doing the line I love. Like I have fun in the middle lane riding with Sam and everyone, and my progression is just a slow progression. It's like, because I'm not in a fucking rush.
Yeah.
Like I can do 300 other things other than this the one thing.
Yep.
But then riding with you lately, a couple of days, and just fucking spring legs over here. Like I can barely fucking move and blast like a fucking 10-foot air easy.
It's unreal.
I was
isn't it?
cranking at a quarter pipe the other day with the stiffest fucking leg. I don't know why. I just get in the air and like my leg gets like an erection or something. Fucking boner leg.
You get too excited about that quarter pipe. That's what's going on.
Yeah, and then, you know, life moves on. And my daughter's, just real quick, like, you know, my daughter's real mom passed those dies of like a fucking drug overdose. And then the last thing she said was when, you know, she came to drop the girls off at my house. And like the last thing the girl's mom said to me was, it's like you're 26 again. It's like, that's just stayed in my head. Like, it is like I'm 26 again. I'm fucking focused. I know what I fucking want. I know what I don't want. And yeah, I'm like, and it's a great opportunity to show my girls, like, it doesn't matter if you're fucking 50 or a fucking 100 or 12 or 9. You gotta fucking have a dream. You gotta fucking get it.
Yep.
Like, you gotta get it. And in order to get it, you gotta fucking sacrifice shit.
Yeah.
So right now I'm sacrificing income. My daughter's sacrifice, you know, like putting up with me. Like, they see that I can be on screens as much as them.
Yeah.
Like this fucking Instagram bullshit. But it's motivating.
Yeah.
It's fucking motivating. And it's a weird motivation. I'm a fucking 50-year-old man. I'm like, I want to get like 100,000 views every time I post something. And then when I post something dope and I only get like 1,000 views, I'm pissed. I want to go do it bigger and better.
Yeah.
And it's so fucking dumb to me that I'm like, this is my mindset.
Yeah.
Right now.
That's cool though, that like bikes or a BMX bike, whatever, can be that vessel to make you that stoked and take you from where you're at and change your mindset to like, I don't need any of that, and I can just now ride my bike, be good there for my family. Like, you can show inspiration to your kids and your, you know,
To
people, and it's just like, it's so cool that that's all off of just the bike riding, and like you showing up and riding is like, that's all it is. So sick.
That's it.
It's motivating to everyone, man. It's
That's
cool.
all it is. Like, dude, trust me, I'm so grateful that I get to be here. I'm surprised I haven't cried.
Yeah. No, dude.
But like, I love fucking BMX.
Yeah,
Like,
dude.
this is like my identity. It's my, like, you know, Markel was like, I don't want to be identified as a bike rider when I die. I'm more than that.
Yeah.
I don't. I want to be identified as a fucking bike rider. I'm not only a bike rider, I'm a fucking BMXer. I'm a freestyler.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Mhm.
man.
That's
So,
sick, dude.
It's good to know what you are. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and
And
along
it's-
the way, I want to bring people with me.
Yeah.
Like, I want to bring the fucking drug addict that thinks that, like, dude, when you're addicted to drugs, you fucking do weird shit. You're on fucking meth for a few days, or fucking, you know, when you have an ounce of Coke in front of you and, you know, people call and you're like, no, I don't got any. And then you cook it all up and smoke like a fucking ounce of crack in one night. And you're like, and how did I survive all this shit?
Yeah.
And so, like, when I broke my leg, I'm just like, this is why I survived. And then my daughter's mother died. And I'm like, well, like, truthfully, like, I'd be the last person you expect to believe. Like, I believe in Christ. And, like, I'm just a different messenger. I'm a God word sent messenger with a foul fucking mouth. But I can tell you that fucking God loves you. God will provide for you. And God will give you magic if you just fucking believe in it. And I don't got to be a fucking Christian Bible thumper to spread the word of Christ. And so, yeah, God is like, on the way to Boulder today, I'm just like, dude, thank you. Like,
that's
thank
amazing.
You know?
That's awesome.
Because I'm driving there, I'm thinking about my girls, I'm thinking about Sam, I'm thinking about this session I'm about to have, thinking about the opportunity I got, thinking about I might be on a podcast where I get 100 views today.
Yeah.
You know, it's 100 people that might hear the word that addiction sucks. Like, I've been in the fucking deepest of it. Like, I've sold every kind of fucking drug there is. And people have died from drugs I've sold. And it's crazy that, like, God has given me this opportunity. Because, like, without it, dude, I don't know a higher power that's like, let's save Troy's life. But I feel like I'm just saved. I'm saved, and I have a message, and I have, like, a purpose.
That's incredible, man.
That's awesome,
and
dude.
I'm stoked and so grateful that you're here and that you recognize, like, the opportunity that you have too. I think that's freaking awesome.
But dude, like, going back to the addiction thing real quick, it's like, when I was addicted to cocaine and crack cocaine, I didn't feel like anybody, even people that I brought up and helped carry along, like, people were afraid to come to my house because they were afraid they'd find me dead. They'd come afraid to come knock on my door to go to work for me because they'd afraid to find me dead. Jeez. And so, and when you're in that deep where you, like, actually go to sleep and you're like, if I don't fucking wake up tomorrow, I don't give a fuck. I just, like, I'll never know. I'm going to sleep. And so I'll sleep forever. If I wake up tomorrow, then I'll fucking get high again tomorrow. And so it's hard to get out of that. It's a fucking rut.
I can't even imagine.
Like, it's fucking hard. And, like, then you got to swallow your pride, right? You got to fucking get the fuck up. Fucking look at the worst part of you. You know, looking at yourself in the mirror and telling yourself what the fucking worst part of you is. It's fucking hard.
Yeah.
It's hard to identify. So once you do that, then you fucking get over being embarrassed and you get over fucking feeling like a fucking loser. Like a functioning fucking drug addict. Like, I'm going to fucking stay up all night long doing fucking crack cocaine, but I'll be at work tomorrow at 7 o'clock. And even though if I do a line right before I get there, I'll still be there. It's fucking miserable.
Yeah.
So
it's hard because I feel like that just turns into kind of like a revolving thing where it's like it's a circle where you can't get out of it, you know?
But you know the power behind all that is? Fucking having somebody tell you they love you.
Yeah.
Like, support you. Like, when you have fucking people that have your fucking back. It wasn't until Sammy J came along that I'm like, I actually have a woman, a friend, like somebody that knows, like, dude, I don't want to go too much longer, but like, my ex lost the kids, the girls, to foster care, and then accused me of a bunch of shit. So I had to, like, battle to get my daughters, the custody of my daughters. And Sammy J was like, one day she just rubbed me on the head and said, I got your back.
That's amazing.
And it's just like, all right, let's do this.
It's good to
It's
have
like an
good
extra
people.
puff in your chest. It's like, all right, yeah, we're going
No,
now.
I
We
actually have
really
a
got
partner
it.
And somebody, like, the power of somebody just fucking believing in you, like one fucking person, will make you fucking change your whole outlook on shit. You know, like, I have people that believe in me. Like, I gotta fucking move forward.
Yep.
So, and right now it's the same battle. I don't have fucking drugs on my battle. I have companies I'm balancing. I'm trying to like fucking pick out the right situation.
Yeah.
So and the only way I get there is by dedicating myself to what I fucking love, like this fucking sport.
Yep.
So
It's amazing, man.
yeah, and anyway, God's good.
Amen to that, my friend. Amen.
I love
God's
it, man.
good.
Well, yeah. I mean,
And I love telling real Christian people. I love giving them a good cuss word right before I preach the word to them. I do.
that's that Troy McMurray style,
It's
man.
like, dude, their messenger
That's you,
comes
man.
in a lot of words, in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
So,
Words are just words too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to. Well, before we wrap this up, I always like to ask people, do you have any parting motivating words for the people out there? I think there's a lot of good nuggets in here, but if you have anything off the top of your head motivating for people, I mean, your writing I think is motivating enough, but if you have some words.
dude, I mean, just like what I talked about earlier, I love just telling people, like, when I do a new trick, and they're like, dude, I need to try that. And I love responding with, like, I can't wait to see it.
Yeah.
And I love, like, letting someone know, like, dude, it might be 10 years since you fucking got your bike down. Like, go grab it. Like, seriously, go to the skate park, go to the trails, and fucking roll around. And, like, do that every day for fucking, like in AA, there's 90 days. First 90 days. That's what Sammy J's doing right now with Instagram, because she's like 13 years sober. First 90 days, you did 90 days of classes. And so she's like, I'm going to do 90 days of posts. My first 90 days, I'm going to do a post, even if it's old clip, new clip, whatever, family, band. She's doing it, right? That's what you got to do. You got to wake up every day, and fucking go do it. Like, you don't make an excuse that you can't. It's like, you got to make time for it.
I love that, man.
It's fucking time.
Yeah, just dedicate yourself to whatever you're trying to do.
And like I said, just swallow your pride, because that's the first part. I hate seeing you blast like 8 foot airs, and I can't. I fucking hate it. I do, but I'm gonna fucking keep trying to get 8 foot airs. Like, I'm just gonna work on it daily until I'm back.
And we'll just keep getting sessions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm blessed. I get a ride
Same.
with you. I'm fucking blown away.
It's a treat.
Yeah, the feeling's
Sessions,
mutual.
And then, like, this dude just clicking shit.
Dude, it was a good day today.
Today was awesome.
I can't wait for the next one.
Yeah, me neither.
Heck
Let's
yeah,
do it
man.
tomorrow.
I'm
Yeah.
down. Well, let's wrap this thing up. I appreciate you being here, man. And looking forward to that next session. We'll catch you guys on the next one. Keep being scared and normal.